this time of year. It's just amazing. So we got another month really to go, another February to go before we can be totally out of the glue as far as any real bad stuff. But hey, what a winter we're having. What a non-winter we're having, actually. Let's start with tips and plants of the week. Well, my tip of the week is time to germinate geranium seeds in order to get them to bloom for May and June. These are the seeded geraniums, the ones, there's the two types. The zonals are the ones you grow from cuttings, and there's the ones you grow from seed. The seeded ones have to get in right now in order to bloom for May and June. If you wait till April or May to plant your seeds, your geranium seeds, you're not going to get bloom till the end of summer. So there you go. That's time to do that. And my plant of the week is another group of plants called Crassula. That's like the jade plants. That's a common one. There's 200 species in the Crassula family. The Crassula genus is a couple of hundred species. It's a really cool species, easy to look after. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the most famous one is the common jade plant, the big leaf jade plant.
Yeah, and literally I bet there's thousands of cultivars.
Oh, and on the cultivars.
Species is one thing, but cultivars even more. There you go. I also have a tip and a plant, and my tip of the week this week is to watch out for the garden trends for 2026 because there's a bunch of new things coming down the pipes in a bunch of different ways. And so if you tune into the garden show each week, we'll always be chatting about some of the new things and some of the trends. Even today, we'll talk a little bit more about garden trends for this year. And also, we'll be talking about peppers as well, hot peppers. That'll be interesting. All right, my plant of the week this week is the agave. It's more of a group again, and agaves are just such a cool plant to have. You treat them and grow them almost similar to like a cactus. So meaning they grow very, very dry. They like very bright light. And they're okay to get a little bit cool in the wintertime, depending where you live. You know, there might be one or two, not so much here in the Okanagan Valley, but there are some areas where there's hardier varieties that might survive the winters. But if you're lucky enough to live in warm climates, then you're going to see probably agaves all over the place. And just kind of an interesting plant, and it's self-protecting, because it generally has a spike on the end of every leaf, which is kind of fun. Not really. Not from a landscape maintenance standpoint. Anyway, that's my tips and plants for this week. Remember to check growercoach.com and Grower Coach on YouTube.
I've got about 5 of agave species in my greenhouse, about 5 different species.
Yeah.
The one, that big one that I think I gave you one
yes,
of those,
that's a really
from Dwayne.
cool one.
Yeah, beautiful plant.
Yeah.
2 things that were done back in the day, which really makes agave one of my favorite plants, is one is that they would use, the native folks would use the tips for knitting or for sewing needles.
Yeah,
sewing needles. I mean, they're as hard as rock.
And they're big spike spine, it's sharp as a
and some of
needle.
the agaves are huge, and the needles, the sewing needle would be about 3 inches long.
Yeah, so. And apparently you just grab it and you pull it towards the top of the leaf, and then you just keep tugging, and then you pull it, and the whole center of that leaf vein pulls out, and that's like very, very tough twine.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. It's a great plant, but the best part is it makes great tequila.
I've heard that.
The tequila that comes from the agave. Now, I think it's a specific agave species that would produce the tequila, but whatever.
It's the biggest one. That is the one.
Yeah. So there you go. Agaves. Yeah, great plant. You know, it's so wonderful, these groups. Like I said, I talked about Crassula. That's a whole group of plants.
Yeah.
And agaves, whole group of plants.
Yep.
Haworthia is a whole group of plants.
Yeah,
it's just Gasteria, another whole group of plants.
Yeah,
and then your euphorbias, great big huge group.
Huge.
It's fun.
So
fun
what we're talking there is genera, sort of the family group or the general group. And then below that is what type of that is it? And that's the species. And then below that are any of the weird little offshoots or let's say anything that shows up that's a little different, a little bit weird, but still same species, just looks different.
Right. And there's the varieties, which is the native, the natural one, and then the cultivars, which is the man-made.
Yeah, cultivar or crossbred or hybrids. Yeah.
Lots of fun. 250-862-2525 if you want to join us on this beautiful Saturday morning in the middle of winter. Talk gardening. Ken's going to bring up some stuff some trends for this year, and I'm going to be talking about a big thing happening in Kew Gardens, the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew, the Palm House. If anybody's ever been there, I was very fortunate. I've been there twice. What a beautiful building, and we'll talk about that baby because they're going to be doing some renovations with that. Lots of stuff to talk about in the garden show today, but give us a call. And the 1-800, the 1-888 number is, so you can call 1-888-780-4273. That gets to us from anywhere else in the listening audience. And we will get to the phone lines. And it's Ariel. Good morning, Ariel. How you doing?
Oh, good morning. I'm doing great. The amaryllis are just the doubles are just doubling up and wonderful.
Nice.
And they're on their way out just about. But anyway, I have a question for you. I have never had a problem with my jade plants. And I had the manager here. She really loved my jade plant. So it was big. It was huge. It was like probably 2 feet across. So I gave it to her, but I said, one condition, I want to take a cutting off of it, and I want to grow it. Mm-hmm. So I did. And so I had it out summer last year, and it was really great. I got it in a shallower pot, and for some reason or another, it's dropped quite a few leaves at different times, and I don't know why. Am I overwatering or what?
Do they turn yellow first, or they drop green?
No, they just drop
green?
They're still, yeah. Mm-hmm. Coming from the bottom, it's coming more from the bottom, but
is there new growth? Is there new growth on it?
Oh yeah,
it's pushing.
Sure.
Well, when it's Ken, I think we both agree on that for sure. That if a plant is pushing new growth, there's no fatal thing going on here. If there's other thing, often I've heard you say it was an event of some sort. Like maybe bringing it from outside in or something like that.
Yeah, some sort of a environmental issue. It's just it's not usually a good sign when the plant drops the leaf green. Like usually if a leaf is going to do voluntary shedding, it will first absorb the chlorophyll out of the leaf, which turns it yellow. Yep. And then the next step is they'll actually take everything out of the leaf, which in a jade plant, you'd end up with this little wafer, crispy little leaf. And that falls. So that, to me, that little crispy little wafer leaf is sort of more normal shedding. Yeah. But the only thing with jades, and I've killed many, especially back in my younger days.
You have? Oh my goodness.
Not recently, but I have way back, and it was always associated with me overwatering them during the winter months. And so I always said from that point, after I killed a couple, I just would tell people, they say, well, what do I do with my jade? And I said, well, whatever you do, don't water it between about around the middle of November until about the middle of March or early March. No water during that winter period. And that's the key, is not allowing it to rot, because they're so susceptible to rotting in the winter months. So that was always my suggestion. It seemed to work. It works for me from that point forward. So that was probably since 1981. I killed a bunch in 1980, but 81, 82, I kind of got the rhythm going. And ever since, I've just said that about the jades. Don't water in the wintertime. Wait until, things are warming up and the days are getting longer and things are happening. Then you can go back to regular watering. And if you're really worried, like, again, the leaves start to shrivel and wilt when they're starting to run out of water. And then what I do then is, if I go like, ooh, boy, I really didn't water it enough, and it's shriveling, and you see the leaves are getting like a little loose, you know what I mean? They're shriveling. And then what I would do is just water a little bit of water down the right-hand side of the pot, and then a little bit of water down the left-hand side of the pot, and call it a day at that. So all I'm doing is introducing a small amount of water down each side of the pot and keeping the rest of the pot dry. And so all that would do is give the plant a little bit of opportunity to absorb a bit of water, and let's keep on the road to spring.
Ken, I think we lost Ariel there, but that's okay. Everyone else heard it. I'm sure she's listening to her radio. So, Ariel, hopefully that information is helping you. And, they are one of the easier, as I said before, they are one of the easier ones to look after. They do like some light, though. They don't want to be in a dark area.
Bright light, yeah. They're desert plant. More, out of all the other types of succulents, some are rainforest succulents, some are desert succulents, and some are sort of semi-hardy succulents.
Yeah.
And that's where you'd find those jades, because we found that on a mild winter, they actually survived here in the Okanagan over winters. I remember that one horseshoe jade that we got from the client had lived in her garden outside for like 5 or 6 years.
Yes, sir.
And then
that's Gollum.
Yeah, it would start shooting up again.
Yeah.
And she gave us each a piece.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Ariel sent us some pictures here, which is great. I'm just going to have a close-up look here. And I don't think I'd worry too much, Ariel, if you're listening. You see a couple of those little crispies on there, too, as well. So, I think it's looking okay. You got new growth coming. And as I often say, if you've got new growth on a plant,
that's a positive
most of
sign.
it is happy. It has to be, because it can't be putting on new growth if it's really unhappy and root rot or anything like that.
And if it is moist in the soil right now, just let her go until we get into end of February, early March, and then reassess it.
We'll take our first break of the day and invite your calls. We'll be back with the Garden Show after this short break. Well, for you folks that are poets out there, there's a contest at Abkhazia Gardens this year. The poetry contest. You've got to get your submissions in by January 25th, so you better start composing. Get that going. Ken and I are thinking about it, but then we go, no, I can play drums. Ken can play guitar and sing, but
Poetry's
writing
another
poetry,
level.
Maybe not.
That's a Bob Dylan thing.
Bob Dylan thing,
We
we need Bob Dylan. But this is great. It's a lot of fun for folks that like to write poetry. And February 8th, the short list will be announced. And February 12th, the poetry reading at the Gardens and Winter is announced at that time. That's a fun thing to do. And basically just go into the www.conservancy.bc.ca/poetry. And it's all to do with Abkhazia Gardens, and it's lots of fun. What they're doing there at the gardens. And I just got to tell you, give you the heads up, folks, if you're listening, Donna and I are taking an island hop in April. And on the 13th of April, we will be in Victoria, maybe the 12th and 13th in that neck of the woods of April. We'll be in Victoria. We're going to come visit the gardens. We're going to go to Salt Spring Island for a couple of days, and then we'll go over to Abkhazia, and we're going to check that out. Very, very exciting time for us. We're really looking forward to that. So that's in April, early April. And, we're going to go up to Comox. I'm going to the Comox Valley Succulent Nursery, which is something I did a while back with very much success. It was so much fun going through all those succulents there, and I'm going to have the same kind of thing. It's like whatever. I'm in a candy shop when I'm in that place.
You gotta be careful. Of your how much cash you bring and how much Visa.
The old credit card works really well.
It gets a
there.
little bit of pain when it goes into those types of places. But.
I think I spent a couple of $100 last time.
Oh, yeah.
Sally is joining us from West Kelowna. Sally, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 2 cherries trees and 1 plum that have been quite neglected for a while, and they need to have haircuts.
Mm-hmm.
When should that happen?
Yeah, well, pruning of fruit trees, like for residential situations, is generally done when the brunt of winter is over. So, like right now, I mean, the weather's so beautiful, you could still do it right now if you wanted to. We're a little nervous. I'm a little nervous that we're going to get a blast of cold weather here in February. And again, when we start cutting branches off of trees and opening up wounds, there's some possibility you can get some frost injury on those, which can turn to disease later on. So, if people say, when's the best time to prune? I say, well, when the brunt of winter is over is ideal. And for homeowners, that can be in early March or any time around there. And if you're unsure sometimes if you don't know how to prune the fruit tree very much, then one of the learning processes is actually going out and doing some, if not all, the pruning while the plant is starting to bloom or flower, because that would be end of March sort of timing. And then you can go and look at those, which branches have the fruit coming on them, and you get an idea of how much fruit you're going to get, because wherever the flowers are, you will get fruit typically. And so that's for, somebody who's learning. I want to learn about peaches, or I want to learn about cherries, or whatever the variety, and where they produce fruit. Because if we just go out and, like you say, especially if it's somebody who's inexperienced at pruning, they can sometimes cut all the fruit off the tree during the dormant season, and then when spring comes, you get a few flowers, but not enough to produce anything, and that can be an issue, right?
So if I prune when the flowers are there, will I get more fruit?
Well, you can decide how much you want is really the key.
Okay.
So, like, let's say if I looked at the tree and it was just an absolute ball of flowers, then I would say, boy, that's going to produce way too much. There's no way I can eat, 70 cases of apples. Mm-hmm. So what I can do is, while I'm doing my pruning, I can selectively trim off a little bit of extra bloom to thin the fruit out a little bit. And that's what, again, that's the next stage up in sort of advanced pruning, is to thin the fruit as you prune when it's blooming.
And you don't have to wait till they bloom, but like Ken was saying, that by waiting till the tree blooms, you now know, you've just learned something. You've learned where the fruit on that particular tree comes. In apples, it comes in kind of clusters, in spurs, as they call them. In cherries, it's a different way. Peach is definitely different. All these different genuses, the prunus and the malus and the pears, the pyrus, and that sort of thing, they all have a different way to where their buds and fruit comes. But as Ken said, if you wait until you see that, then the next time you can prune a little bit earlier before the buds comes, because you know where those buds are going to be, which are the buds. It's a learning process. So that's why we often suggest that to homeowners when they're deciding they're going to do their own pruning. Wait till they bloom, so you know where the fruit is. You're not cutting off the fruit.
Okay, great. And that's very helpful.
One last tip is that remember that the branches way up high that you can't reach have very little value. Mm-hmm. So they're generally the first to go. And then the ones underneath the tree that you walk into, and when you're trying to mow the lawn or whatever, if it's in the lawn, those also have slightly less value. So it's all those ones through the middle of the tree that are your most valuable branches, which you want to save and keep.
Great.
All right.
Oh, that's been very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome, Sally. Thanks for the call.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Yeah. Fruit tree pruning. We've got this session coming up here, Ken, and you haven't read that yet, but there's a session coming up for arborists to help prune homeowners' trees. And one of the things I read in there, that's why I gave it to you to read through, but one of the things, she's this gal that's doing this, she's a university professor, I think, and she is talking about the methodology that we've used over the years, creating these mushroom and flat trees over the years. She said we don't have to do that. So I would go in there with open mind, but I would go in there also. The orchardists have been doing this for years, and they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing to produce lots of fruit. To maintain somewhat the health of the tree, they do some things that really are contrary to that.
High density plantings now. Yeah.
And the fruit trees now, the commercial fruit trees, very high density. There's lots going on.
Espalier. All the.
When you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, when you drive down Benfold and you see that new planting by the Benvolan Church, the new planting of apples. They're spindle apples. I've been watching them since the day one because we were doing the gardens at the church, and they started with just a little spike with a bud on it. Do you know those apples this year were loaded, but they never came to any size. They were all small, and the farmer left them on the tree all winter. This is not good plant practice.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we're being being constructively critical, but
removing the fruit off the trees is number one to prevent disease from spreading from year to year, and insect issues and all those things. But I totally understand how when you're doing things on bigger scales, there's an economy behind it that says, there's no way we could afford to pay people to go out and pick all the fruit off of them, so they just let them drop, and then in the springtime they probably have a method of gathering them with a machine or something.
Just release a couple of black bears in there, and they'll finish that fruit off.
Oh, ouch! Yeah, that'd be painful. But it is very interesting, the old methods compared to the new methods, and just looking at many orchards over the past 10 years or so, and seeing that the trees keep getting closer and closer and closer together until you just end up with these rows. Like I say, it's a spallied onto like a two-dimensional system that's cabled and supported in a row to 14, 16-inch on center.
Yeah, you don't need ladders.
And it doesn't take them years and years and years and years to develop a crop, and it doesn't require the ladders and whatnot. Now, there's some that are getting up. It all depends on the orchard and their style that they prune, but it's awesome to see that's all changed, and now they're able to pick much faster and easier. And
have you also one thing I've noticed with those spindle trees, and they're planted at 18 inches apart, kind of thing. And, what I've noticed is I've seen more death from collar rot and other things. Periodically in that group, you'll see that. But then you used to see that too, Ken, with big orchards, big, huge. You'd look out. Look at an orchard, and like we had an uncle out in Oyama that had a balcony that overlooked his orchard. And we were standing there, and it was Joe Mercer's dad, Bob Mercer. And Bob, we're standing there just looking at the orchard, and he says, we're looking out there, and it's the middle of summer, and the orchard's just green. Mm-hmm. And two trees in that huge acreage, two spots where the tree was turning yellow, and he goes, see that tree? It's toast. Mm-hmm. It's done. Collar rot. It's got a collar rot, and it's done. And that was in a tree. That was in an orchard of hollow. So when a homeowner comes to us and says, my apple tree's dying, what happened? Well, it's just unlucky.
Unlucky.
There's
120 different possibilities. So we got to start narrowing it down for sure.
Yeah. But when a tree generally dies like that, and you can look at it, and he says, going to lose that one. We're going to lose that one. We'll lose that one over there too.
Yeah,
and it was just
they replace them.
Yep, they replace them. Yep, that's right.
It's just the identification of any plant that dies that has any kind of value must be identified, so that when the new plant goes in, it doesn't develop the same issue. So if it is a root disease or something, then you got to be a little careful. And then in that case, they might have to get a special root stock or something that's immune to that. There's many new diseases and disorders showing up every year. Yeah. In cherries right now, there's some really bad ones showing up. And so we're going to have to be careful and get on it. And
another reason a tree, like Bob's showing those trees, another reason that could be pocket gophers. Chewing the base of the bark. But the whole tree is dying, so something major is happening to the vascular system of the tree.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. More than likely, we got Dan Bruce calling in, but we love to hear from you all. 1-888-780-4273 if you're calling from out of the Kelowna area. 250-862-2525 if you're right here in town and calling from here. And we'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. Well, we are back with you on a beautiful Saturday morning. I've got Dan Bruce waiting for us, but I'll tell you what, Dan, we're kicking you off the side because we got another gentleman phoning, and he's more important than you. Hang on, listen to the show, and we're going to talk to Gordon. Good morning, Gordon.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good, thanks.
Excellent. Hey, I heard you talking about cherry trees and pruning and stuff, and I was going to follow up with that. What about dormant oil? Is it too early to spray the dormant oil?
Yeah, it is. Don, you've often mentioned that to wait as long as you possibly can, because we're waiting for the eggs and the little the overwintering aphids and things to come to life and start moving a bit.
So early March is when you would start considering doing it, depending on the weather. Don't do it when it's freezing.
Plus 10 is ideal.
I know, but I see my problem is we're just heading down to Arizona, Scottsdale.
When are you back?
And I'll be back the end of March, and then you're always kind of concerned that the buds are going to be out by then.
That's not going to hurt it. Dormant oil is not going to hurt. Just because it says dormant oil doesn't mean it's going to hurt it if you spray it when they're not dormant. But it might be a little late for the efficacy, but I think it's not going to hurt the tree. So just get that sprayer going as soon as you get back from down south. It's just a little early. It's going to, if it gets really cold. I mean, I don't know if it would hurt anything to spray
just
right now.
In bloom, you wouldn't want to do it right now. I don't think you're going to get the benefit right now. But one thing that you might want to do is, if you're not going to be here, is just literally hire one of the spray companies, and they'll come in and do it for you, and they'll do it, book them for like last week in March or something, and that should be pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, guys.
Well, have a good trip,
welcome.
And I'm envious. Okay.
Okay, take
care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And we have on the line with us the infamous Dan Bruce. How you doing, buddy?
Morning, Dan.
Oh, hi.
That's you.
Yeah, where did you go?
On a mission.
Okay.
On a mission.
Well, you're back, and what have you got to tell us today?
Well, I was I found some shallots for sale in Save-On, and I bought them because they were small ones. Mm-hmm. And that's what I used to make pickled onions with.
Okay.
So I did that, and then I was in the spice cabinet looking for the required spices. Mm-hmm. And I was in luck, as what I needed was there, and that included allspice. But I ran out of it. Used all I had, so I put that on the grocery list, but then I kind of thought about it, because I didn't write allspice on the grocery list. I wrote pimento.
Interesting.
It is Jamaica that provides about, I would say, 90% of the world's supply of this commodity. The tree grows throughout the Caribbean, but is especially cultivated in Jamaica. And there, it's not called allspice at all, it's called pimento. And particularly on the north coast of the island, you get these really nice-looking trees. They have a whitish, kind of pale greenish white bark and dark shiny green leaves. And the spice it's a berry that is harvested and then dried. So green pimento looks sort of like a green peppercorn, really.
Interesting.
But
I didn't know this.
These are spread out on what, again, in Jamaica are called barbecues, which are large, flat concrete slabs in the sun where the berries are dried. When the drying is going on, of course, you have to roll the berries over from time to time to make sure that they are all sort of evenly dried.
Yep.
And that is what is then marketed as allspice.
I didn't know this, Dan. And often you will say something like this that all of a sudden go, oh, I didn't know that. I thought allspice was just a bunch of spices mixed together.
No, it's a specific thing. Now, what is...
But then I'm not a cook, so I don't know.
That the plant will grow anywhere in the tropics that you plant it, but it doesn't really produce any berries unless it's growing in Jamaica.
Interesting.
Well, what's going on there? What's the reason for that?
Well, you tell me, and we'll both know.
Well, interesting.
It hasn't been established, as far as I know, the reason.
Well, it's interesting because it sort of touches on a topic that I'm going to be speaking about during the show today, and it is the renovations of the Palm House at Kew.
Oh, yes.
And that's going on. They say they'll be completed by about 2030. But it's going to be totally carbon neutral and carbon negative, actually. They're changing the whole heating system, which was very unique and built in 1845 or something. An amazing thing. You see the tower, that Romanesque tower that's 175 meters away from the actual glass house, right? And the underground tunnel connecting the two.
Yep.
What an amazing structure. They're going to be going geotherm and all sorts of things now. But this renovation is costing millions of pounds, of course. But I'm glad it's being done because it's a classic house, greenhouse there, a beautiful, beautiful crystal greenhouse. And I know you've been there several times, Dan. I've been there a couple of times. The environment in that house, I mean, it's the star, really, of Kew Gardens in a way. You can't get away from that. And the reason I was talking about this is that there's a palm in there that is gynoecious. It has to have a male and a female, okay? And what they're doing with these plants in there, because there's huge plants. Some of them are meters and meters and meters tall and old plants. Some of them can't be moved successfully and stored away till the renovations are done. They just can't be done. So they are sort of doubling down and saying, okay, let's collect seed and let's grow seedlings of this stuff, right? Well, some of these palms, the one in particular, I can't remember what it is, but it's a palm that needs a male, and they don't have a male in there to do it. So they're searching all over the world. They found something in China, a palm at some botanic garden in China that has some male palms. Then they're going to get the pollen sent over to them, and it's kind of fun to read about this. This was in the Globe and Mail last week, which is kind of interesting.
Well, that sort of does go back to the old saying that is so true, that China is the mother of gardens.
There you go.
True. Yeah.
I'll maybe finish off about the pimento next week.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, no, you can finish off. We can just finish off that pimento thing because I had no idea that pimento came from a tree and it was called allspice. But then I'm not a cook, as I say, so there you go.
Well, but no, you're a botanist.
I should know these things.
Yes. When Columbus left Spain in 1492 and came across the Caribbean, one of the things that he was looking for was spice. Mm-hmm. And it's rather ironic that the only spice, not the only one, but pimento, allspice, is from that area. But he didn't recognize it. The Taino people who lived there apparently didn't use it in their cuisine, which their cuisine would have been fairly simple, I would think. But anyway, no, it was not recognized right away. It took some time before they discovered that this thing had a culinary use. They did, of course, come across chili peppers in the Caribbean.
Right.
And Peter Martyr, who wrote a fairly detailed account of the European penetration in that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Although he didn't go there, he made a point of interviewing sailors, people on these various trips. When they returned to Spain, Peter Martyr made a particular point of interviewing them and asking questions and so forth. Anyway, he received from one of these sources some chili peppers. They were probably those little, about inch-long ones that in Jamaica were called bird peppers, and I mean, they were seriously hot.
Mm-hmm.
On a hot day, if you went too close to the bush that these things were growing on, your eyes started to burn. Not burn seriously, but
no.
You were aware of the fact that
something was going on.
There are bird peppers close to you.
The brain is telling you that.
Anyway, the Peter Martyr wrote this account, and he wrote it in the form of letters to various potentates in Southern Europe. And this one letter was actually sent to the Pope, and a sample of these peppers was sent with the letter, and there's a comment in there which is rather amusing, where Peter Martyr says, Your Holiness should not put these into your mouth.
Well, there you go. Dan, we're now at the bottom of the hour, or the three-quarter mark. We're going to have to say goodbye, but that's interesting. Something new for us, for our minds to think about. Appreciate it.
Do you know the relationship, just one last question, the relationship between this pimento tree and like peppers, that like the pepper tree where you get like ground pepper from? Is that a relationship or
no?
Not related.
The ground pepper, the black pepper, is a vine from Southeast Asia, and it can be used green or dried as black. But the confusion of name is that in Spanish it's pimienta is the pepper, the ground pepper.
And the genus is Piper nigrum is what.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the genus of pimento is pimenta. Pimenta dioica.
And the genus of the peppers that we eat, the bell peppers and whatnot, and the hot peppers is capsicum.
That's capsicum.
So, there you go. We've learned something today, Dan. Thanks for the call. Yeah. We'll check in with you next week.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan. Take care.
Bye-bye now. We're going to take that short break. We'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. There we go. Oh, those common names out there. We don't want to complicate things for you people out there, because a lot of folks say, I don't like those darn
botanical names,
Latin names and everything. Well, Ken and I are here to not force feed you this thing, but the fact is, it's so much more fun. It's like we're just talking about peppercorn, and that's a common name for a couple of different things. The one that I really like is the cotton tree. When I was in Australia,
cotton tree.
and there's this yellow tree blooming, just
beautiful.
A street tree all over the place, a yellow tree, and I said to my host there, I said, Steve, what is that tree? That's a beautiful tree. He says, well, that's a cotton tree. And I said, well, no, but what's its real name? It's not a cotton tree, because it's just that's a common name, right?
From,
So he said, no, it's a cotton tree. So anyway, I looked up cotton tree, and it's a hibiscus, and so I went there. And it's beautiful. It's a tree standing like a big elm tree, or even a magnolia, the evergreen magnolia, that kind of a size of a tree, right? And full of these yellow blossoms, and he called it a cotton tree. And I went up to it. Sure enough, the blossom was just like a hibiscus bloom,
Amazing.
Fantastic. I just and that's what the cool thing about it, folks, is that you just, and I'm not saying all gardeners have to get into it in depth like that.
No.
but when I was about 35. Well, I guess it was when I started hanging with Ken Salvale and some other guys that are, like various other worked with us, and they were quite into the botanical side of things. And I started. It opened up a whole new world, a whole new window when you started looking at the botanical names, the genus, the species, the varieties, the cultivars, and that kind of thing, because you realize the diversity and the hugeness of the plant world, and it just opened up a whole new thing. You don't have to go there, folks, to be good gardeners. You don't have to do that, because as long as somebody knows what you're talking about when you say this is creeping Jenny,
that's really ultimately all that matters. Is people know what you're talking about. Right. And that's where, again, it does get confusing. And like for us, we get people to phone in and they'll use a common name, and we have to just ask, is this the one with the red leaves, or is this the one with the little fine fringy leaves, or whatever that description is, so that we can clearly identify it as this genera, that group, that family group. Then it leads us down the road of all the issues that are associated with that family. If you're going with something, if it's unidentified, it's a little harder to deal with. But again, that whole world of diseases and whatnot, that's something that I've specialized in that over the years, species-specific plant pathology and that sort of thing, which is something I just love, and it's interesting. But again, like you say, you don't have to go that far down. You can just buy some seeds and plant them and grow them and reap the cherry tomatoes or whatever they are you want to grow there. That's all fine. It's just wonderful to be able to grow plants. And this year, I'm thinking one of the big trends is plant trees. Any kind of tree.
Yeah,
and
just in the right spot.
Yeah, ideally in the right spot, yeah. And that's where these columnar trees are a little easier to deal with, because they fit into smaller spaces, and something that's more tall and slender shape, rather than something wide. So, growing trees, that's, I think, one of the big trends here.
Well, getting that canopy going, that's a focus of Kelowna, and all municipalities are trying to get the tree canopy expanded.
It cools the surface.
We've got a caller from Victoria, which we always enjoy hearing from Victoria. Joanne, good morning.
Good morning, Don. I thought I tried to send you a picture of a couple of times of an anthurium plant.
Anthurium?
Yes, and it's getting very, very large. I don't really want it to get any bigger, and I'm wondering if I can cut it back at all without damaging it.
Well, did you send a picture?
I sent to what I thought that your website was, but I'm wondering if I don't have it right.
Yeah, Dawn@thegardenexpert.com.
Yeah, that's where I thought I said Dawn@thegardenexpert.com.
It's got to be the.
Yeah, some people leave the out of there, and it goes to my buddy in England. He's Dawn@gardenexpert.com. Anyway.
Yeah.
But look at the anthurium. Well, look at you can cut them back. There's kind of a crown on those babies that you could cut it down. I'm sure it would regrow from the base. Is it getting kind of wobbly?
Pardon me?
Is it getting kind of wobbly?
Well, no. It just keeps getting taller. And I really like it. It was a gift, so I don't want to. I don't want to destroy it.
Yeah, you can selectively removing some of the bigger leaves that kind of flop outwards is really the way to go. And if it's, the height of it may or may not play a role, but it sometimes is nice to have a little bit of a taller plant that can go, say, if you have a few plants in a placement, you can have it sort of in the background. Sometimes you need a taller plant. It's just these plants are going to grow to the size that they're trying to get as big as they do in nature, but obviously in nature they get way, way bigger. It sounds like you've got really good growing conditions and you're doing the right thing because it's happy and it's healthy. So I would just do selective removal of individual leaves. So you find the leaf, and then there's this long leaf stem that goes down to the base, and you can just snip those out if you want to reduce the width. And as far as the height goes, you could even do that with the height, just find the 4 or 5 of the tallest leaves and follow them all the way down to where they join on to something. So wherever they join on, you can just snip them maybe about a half an inch to an inch away from wherever they join on.
Okay, I will try that then.
Yeah, and that'll just greatly reduce the whole shape of the plant. That's like the crown of the plant, the top.
Yes.
You can reduce that, like a crown reduction, it might be called, just by selectively removing leaves.
Yeah, take it right down to the base.
Yeah.
So is there any evidence of new growth coming at the base of the plant, like little shoots and that?
Yes, I must admit I haven't looked at it that closely.
Have a look and see, because that's really a good indicator. As Ken says, if you cut back some of these longer leaves and foliage and stems back right to the base, that'll stimulate more growth at the base, and which will bush it out and keep it short.
Okay, I will give that a try.
Okay, dear.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for the call.
Calling.
Yeah.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
And I meant to mention, how is the weather in Victoria? I mean, I looked it up this morning, as I always do on Saturday mornings. I look up my weather source here, and as to what is going on with the 3 different areas that we broadcast into. Like, it's 1 degree in Kelowna right now in this morning when I was up, -1 at the UBCO station out in Ellison, and 20 degrees in my greenhouse. And it's 5 degrees in Victoria, 0 in Penticton. Highs of 5 in Kelowna, 9 in Victoria, and 3 in Penticton are predicted for today. So what a mild stretch of weather we're having.
Yeah.
The only reason any alarms go up now, I mean, if it stays mild and doesn't get any colder than -10 kind of through February, or minus even minus down to -12 or 15. But once it gets into that -20 and absolutely -30, big damage can happen.
We're going to see a
big
lot of
damage
problems.
can happen. It happened, 2 years ago in February?
Well, it went really cold.
Yeah.
Like
And 3 years ago in
January. Around Christmas
in November. It was a November freeze 3 years ago.
Yeah, there were several bad snaps. If it goes to that, then you're looking at pretty major problems. But it's just the way, we got this mild temperature now, and it's nice. I'm seeing some temperatures cooling off at night here, maybe -5, -6, which is really nothing for plants. But we got to get at it and get some cold temperatures to keep these plants dormant so they don't start breaking dormancy.
I've been watching my garlic. I see just a sign of a little poking through the surface, my garlic.
Well, I mentioned my alliums, my flowering alliums are about, they were up as high as about 18 to 20 inches high out of the ground. And then we got a hard snap and they dropped. Now they've kind of wilted back a bit, but now they're about 12 inches high. So they lost a bit of height, but they still look okay. So you never know.
It should be fun.
I hope so.
As long as it doesn't get 20 below.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take that middle of the show break. We do appreciate your calls. That really keeps the show happy and lively, because we get your input, not just questions. You can tell us all about what's going on in the garden. We listen to gardening advice from everybody, because everybody has their own personal experience in their gardens, and that personal experience is sometimes more valid than what you get by just reading a book or something. That you hands-on, just like we were talking about the fruit trees earlier. One of the ways that a homeowner can find out just where the fruit comes from is to wait till the tree blooms, and then you can see, that's got to be a fruit there, and then I can recognize next year without the bloom where the fruiting buds come on specific types of trees. And that's coming up now. So we're going to take that short break for the news and be back with the Garden Show after this short break. We are back with you on a beautiful Saturday morning. I always say that, but today I mean it. Actually, no, every day is beautiful. I was just saying to Ken, we're milking every day that we have here, and we are enjoying the garden. I was out actually doing some garden work on Thursday. It was like a spring day, and we're out there doing a little bit of cleaning up and pruning and whatnot to get. Now, we talk about when is it time to prune. It's going to be interesting because I pruned all my grapes and kiwis last fall. I pruned them right down to the bones in the fall. And as a matter of fact, with the kiwis, I pruned them so heavily and I'm not going to allow them to have any fruit this year. I'm going as they start to bloom and whatnot. I may leave the males there just for fun. Just leave the males blooming because they're kind of pretty. But the females, I'm going to cut all their blooms off, and we're going to have a kiwi-less year this year, and specifically to stop the dreaded spotted-winged Drosophila problem.
Yeah, that's a pretty major issue, especially on kiwis, it seems.
We had
and any of the aggregate fruits, of course.
Yep. Well, if anything positive comes from those two freezes we talk about, the November frost 3 years ago and 2 years ago the February frost, the reason we the good part of that is that, hey, the following year I had no spotted-winged Drosophila.
Right.
The last winter was so mild. This spring, the spotted wing, there was enough around that they proliferated and they went into my kiwis this fall, and I don't know how much damage, I don't know how many spotted winged Drosophilas were in there, what happened, but all I know is all I needed was one. And I don't want to eat any more kiwis. Isn't that weird? I mean, it's a tiny little maggot in there.
Yeah.
A tiny little maggot.
Not like the cherry maggot.
You would not even taste the maggot.
Yeah.
You would just eat the kiwi and it just tastes as sweet and nice as normal, but there's a maggot in there.
Little extra protein.
Yeah. So I just don't feel like eating them after that. So this year, no kiwi fruit.
That will help, yeah.
If you don't have the kiwis, and I don't have berry fruits or anything in my yard, so because that's another host, of course, the berry fruits. I think even blueberries they're getting into now a little bit.
The issue is that when you get a windstorm, you got them because the wind, they float on the wind, right? And the wind blows them into your yard, and they go, "Oh, look at this!
Darn things, yeah.
Some nice little kiwis here."
Jet-propelled spotted-winged Drosophilus.
Yeah, well, only
flying through the air,
get caught in the wind. But hopefully they land and hold on during windstorms. But
the cold, really does them in.
Yeah,
because that's general. Then the wind doesn't matter; it's not going to blow anything in because
those
everybody
two bad winters we had really knocked
really
them
helped.
out. Yeah, and I know that was the year we had strawberries, and they were beautiful and fabulous.
So that's the
but
positive.
The next year, not so much. They were infested, so they come back relatively quickly.
Seedy Sunday coming up.
Yeah, excited. And
Exciting
CD
day.
Saturdays and CD Sundays across Canada.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm not even sure where else they are.
Well, I'm just thinking in Victoria, there'll be some folks listening, hopefully, that know when their CD Saturday or their CD Sunday is going to be. Penticton, same thing. There's a CD Sunday or CD Saturday in Penticton, and also all over the place. And basically what that is a sighting day for master gardeners as well as the just regular gardeners. They host the event. The Master Gardeners host the event. You get a head start on spring. Be offering workshops for adults, activities for children, all for no charge. They'll be running their Master Gardeners seed swap table and invite everyone to participate, whether they have seeds or to trade or not. Now, come out and meet the local gardening organizations, organic and heirloom seed growers, and whole host of gardening-related products and information. Parkinson Rec Center, this is in the Kelowna area, will be full, indoors and out, with vendors and exhibitors, plus a whole host of Okanagan Master Gardeners to get you started in the 2026 growing season.
And I'll be there.
And Ken will be there.
Absolutely.
Find Ken
Answering
Salville.
questions, you bet.
Find Ken Salville. He'll be there. CD Sunday, that's Sunday, March the 8th, which really isn't that far off, about 5 weeks or 6 weeks away. March the 8th, 2026. Time 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, that's the Kelowna one. That's the Okanagan, the central Okanagan one. Maybe if somebody in our other listening area knows, Ken knows already. He's pointing at his phone.
I just mentioned if you want to know if there is a CD Saturday in your community or CD Sunday, the CD events are always listed on the Seeds of Diversity website. So you can go to Seeds of Diversity.
Perfect.
And it's just seeds.ca is what it is. So pretty easy to figure out. But you can go there and there's a search thing. You can search your town, your city, or you can go through the list. They have a big list there and it tells all about the details, the dates and everything. And I would imagine that through that website, if you're in a community that doesn't have a seed swap like this or a seed event every spring, you could likely register through these guys and they can help you get set up so that it can actually happen. And it's a really fun event. It gets gardeners together and gives you opportunity to switch and trade different things and even purchase a few things. I know a lot of home growers and whatnot bring a few of plants here and there, different types of plants, grapes and berries and all kinds of things to the show. So it's a great opportunity.
And this has been going on for a long time. It was at one point Seedy Saturday here in Kelowna. In some places it is Seedy Saturday. But here we've changed it to Seedy Sunday. And it's at the Parkinson Rec Center. So
and that's because that venue is awesome.
Pardon me?
The venue is awesome. It's only available on the Sundays, like in our community. Right. So that's why they had to get that. And they locked it in because it's just such a great spot.
That's coming up, and and lots of things coming up. Of course, the garden tour is going to happen in June. We won't talk too much about that, but the garden tour, and anybody in any community, if there's a garden tour where you can go out and see various private gardens and some commercial gardens and whatnot, hey, do it, because that really gives you that opportunity to plagiarize people's gardens. Oh, hey, I'm going to take that idea, bring it home. And if it's there for 3 years, you can now call it your idea.
Yeah, there you go.
Once it's there, that's the statute of limitations as far as plagiarization goes. Is that if it's there, if you've had it in your yard for 3 years, you can forget where you got it.
Yeah,
that's your idea.
Yeah. Well, I also there's going to be an event in Lake Country on April the 11th, I believe it is, and you can always double check that. But it's a full day of gardening. It's called the Love of Gardening.
Oh wow!
And it's a full day of all kinds of. I'm pretty sure there's going to be venues there, and there's going to be tons of speakers, including myself. I'll be doing several talks there that day, and it's all about gardening. So it's going to be really great, and it's going to be a good kickoff. You know, early April is a good time to get out and start doing some vegetable gardening or to plant a tree or whatever it is that you want to do, and you can get some great advice in person at that event. So watch for that. It's coming up in Lake Country, BC.
What should you be picking up right now at the store to get your season going? And I think if you have a little bit of spare change on your agenda, you can a couple of things: a grow light and a heating pad. You know,
basics,
basic stuff. Those are the two things you really need if you're going to be starting seeds indoors, especially if you're going to be starting them in early. Now, we are already a half hour more in daylight than we were in December 22nd. We're a half hour longer already. And it's exciting because as it's exponential. As we get into spring, it gets even more dramatic, you know? It's kind of cool.
And for us in our area, we don't get a lot of sun at this time of year, so even though that is advancing, it's not a lot of light. But I think, for example, they say, like, for you to get any vitamin D out of sunlight, your shadow has to be less than your height. As soon as your shadow exceeds your height, there's no longer vitamin D available for you. So all of us in the northern hemisphere, we need to be taking vitamin D supplements in the winter months. It's super helpful and healthy and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, lots going on this spring. I know I have multiple events coming up, and if anybody wants to book myself, I'm available for public speaking and events and that sort of thing in the communities anywhere from, even north of Vernon. I've been doing some gigs up in Armstrong and all the way down to Penticton. So if there's any listeners out there that belong to gardening clubs, that sort of thing, are interested, they can get a hold of me at ken@growercoach.com. So check that out and, send me a message. We can connect up, and I do custom programs for people. Anything you want. We have literally hundreds of topics.
And I have seen and been to many of Ken's. As a matter of fact, we've done doubled up sometime and done some work as well. But Ken really explains things very, very, very in a way that's totally understandable. He talks to folks in a way that is respectful, and he has a depth of knowledge that really hard to beat. So if you hear where Ken is, it's
be
like,
there or be
square. Be
square.
there or be square, and enjoy those talks.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Don.
You betcha.
Yeah.
So I've just got a text from, I think it's Rob Gannett, I'm not sure, but he says, where can you order seeds from? Looking for calla lily bulbs and Lincoln Homesteader peas, for example. Lincoln Homesteader should be out there, shouldn't it? Or it's an old variety. Lincoln Homesteader is an old variety. Should be out there. As far as the calla lilies, you don't buy seeds, you get the bulbs.
Yeah, the Vessi, if you're in Canada, you have to buy from a Canadian seed company, and that's just something we learned the hard way last fall, just because some of the changes in the way things are shipped now that, I think our shipping costs were 5 times, 10 times the amount of the actual product that we bought. It was way, way, way more than anything else. So it was just interesting. So then we switched over, and you buy from your local, as much as you can local, or in Canada, there's lots of great seed companies.
Yeah. Lincoln Homesteader should be available somewhere from one of Vessi's or one of the places. We're going to take a break here. We're going to have to. We do invite your calls, 250-862-2525 to join our conversation here, 1-888-780-4273 if you're going to be calling from anywhere out of the Kelowna area. We'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. We are back with you on a lovely Saturday morning. It's almost gardening weather right now here in the Okanagan. Definitely getting going in Victoria. There's no question about that. And Ronnie, have you been out in your garden yet this year?
Well, I haven't, because I had a little accident right before Christmas, and my arm is in a sling.
Oh no! I'm sorry to hear that.
It'll fix. I slipped on a neighbor's driveway when I was delivering baking to them for Christmas.
Oh my goodness! Now this is so you broke your arm?
I fractured it and dislocated the shoulder.
Oh dear, that's not fun.
But it'll get fixed. It could have been worse. I didn't do a hip or anything like that.
Yeah, or a back, or a neck, or a head. I know my good my brother-in-law fell on his head about 10 years ago. Got a very, very serious concussion. Yeah. And it really changed his whole life, really. I mean, it was a serious thing. Yeah,
no, I didn't get a concussion. I didn't break my nose. I didn't break my glasses, which were hanging around my neck. How that happened, I don't know, but
I dropped my glasses the other day in the hospital parking lot, and I stepped on them. Oh. So I've had to JB Weld bond back together again. There you go. Ronnie, what can we do for you today?
Well, I only heard a part of the morning thing because somebody had the audacity to call during your program.
Oh, boy.
So I heard poetry, and then I heard maybe 12th and 13th of April.
That's when we're going to be there. We're going to be in Victoria at that time. We're going to come and see the gardens.
Excellent.
Yeah. My birthday's on the 14th, and so we want to be in Vancouver to visit my son and his wife. On the 14th, we're going to go out for a birthday dinner.
Nice.
They're paying for it, I hope. So just sort of a little bit up in the air. We're 10th, 11th, and 12th. Well, 10th and 11th evenings, like Friday night and Saturday night, we're going to be on Salt Spring.
Nice.
So then Sunday is the 12th, I think, and on the Sunday we'll be heading into Victoria. So we'll be in Victoria the Sunday and the Monday. Okay. So anyway, we're going to contact you and make sure we get it all set up. I'm going to have to figure out somehow broadcasting the radio show. I might phone in because Ken said he might be away that weekend, and so if he's away and I'm away, I may phone in or something like that. We'll talk to Gurinder, see if we can make it happen. Otherwise, we may have a blank in the middle of spring.
We can do a replay.
We can do a replay. We can do a repeat or something like that.
From last year at the same time.
Yeah, I'll be at a gardening festival. Imagine that.
Nice.
In Lake Country on the 11th.
There you go.
Nice. April, so if you just get a hold of Cherie, you can coordinate through her.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Very, very looking forward to it. Yeah.
I am too. So thank you very much for all of your support of the garden, and I'm hoping that our poetry contest goes really well.
Mm-hmm. And how are you making out there? I mentioned that,
I haven't heard.
Yeah, I mentioned the fact that January 25th is the submission deadline.
Right.
And February 8th is the short list is going to be announced, the short list. And then on February 12th, the poetry reading in the garden and winner announcements.
Yes, now, and I believe there's going to be tea and scones provided to everybody who's there.
Nice.
And I also heard that the Upside from Czech TV is going to be there.
Oh, lovely.
So that will make it a really fun event for people.
Right. Now, Ronnie, just when I was doing some homework on it and looking up the website and whatnot, and typically the internet is sometimes not up to date on things, but it said something about the gardens shutting down for a week or 10 days or something for maintenance, or
it's going to be shut until the 20th, and that I think the 20th, and then it reopens on the 21st.
A short period of time, but so I was right. I didn't want to mention that unless I talked to you first.
Yeah, it's just for that period of time so that people can have a bit of a break.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
but then the garden is only open from Wednesday to Sunday until the end of March.
Okay.
And then it opens all day, like every day after that.
Okay. So Fabulous. Maybe it's on the Sunday that we're going to have to come.
Well, no, it's only to the end of March.
Oh, end of March. This is into April, so we're good. We're good.
April's
okay.
Good,
then we can come any day of the week at that time.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ronnie.
Okay. Thank you very much, you guys.
You're very
thanks
welcome.
for calling.
Take care.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, our friends in Victoria. I'm going to finally get to meet some of them in April.
Abkhazia Gardens.
Abkhazia.
Cool place.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to go to, of course, I mentioned Comox. Definitely going to the Comox Valley succulents, which I was at a few years ago and bought whack of plants. And I'm looking for different pachypodiums. I've got the Lamurai and I've got the Gayai. But I want to see what else he's got in pachypodiums, because there's several species of pachypodiums out there. And also he's got some really interesting gasterias, and probably some really cool euphorbias too. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend some time at the Comox Valley nurseries, and they specialize, as I say, in succulents and cacti. We're also going to visit some folks. My good buddy Jim McGilvery and his wife Annie are in Comox. We're going to go see them. We might see, when we go to Salt Spring, we might go and see Valdi, which is a great friend of ours, a musician friend of ours, and we're going to go have a little chat with Valdi on Salt Springs, and make a real nice run of it. We call it island hopping. We have such a beautiful, beautiful coastline in British Columbia. Just to take those ferries across and look at the scenery, and we're gonna look forward to doing that. 250-862-2525 to get through to us. 1-888-780-4273 if you're calling from anywhere but in Kelowna, and we will definitely love to talk to you. And we are now going to talk to Donna from Victoria. Donna, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm. I married a Donna, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah. So it's Dawn and Donna. You should go out and find a Dawn to marry.
No, I don't think so.
I don't. Okay. What can we do for you today?
At Christmas time, I got one of these Touch of Wax amaryllis.
Oh, yes.
So you don't have to water it, and the bulb is encased in wax.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's finished blooming, and it's still green. Can I take the wax off of that bulb and plant that bulb?
Yes, dear. I would advise you to do that. It's something that in order to maintain your bulb to come back every year and do your thing that we often suggest doing, that wax has to come off, and you want to get it into a pot with some regular potting soil, and go from there. I've never played with one of those waxed ones, but just from a horticultural grower point of view, it's not the natural thing to do with an amaryllis bulb. They seem to be successful in having them bloom for the one time, but in order to carry on any longevity with those, you're going to have to take that wax off and get it into a pot.
Okay, do I wait till it dies right back? Because it's still green now, but the flowers have died off.
Yeah. Now you say, okay, you didn't need to water it. I'd be fascinated to play with one of those myself, but the fact is they come totally encased in wax, and they're not in a pot, right? They're just sitting in a jar, are they?
They got actually a little metal stand that comes with them, and you just sit it down with a stand.
Well, I mean, I would, I'm sure, I'm correct in saying that that's a slow death for that bulb.
Okay.
So you want to get it back to normal and peel that wax off, get it into a pot, because there's no roots showing on it?
No, nothing.
Okay.
It's just
you take that wax off,
bulb.
that's not going to change the situation a bit. In fact, it's going to be good for that because you get it into a pot, you can water it, and that foliage is going to stay healthy and replenish the bulb for next year. You can send for my sheet on amaryllis on how to get them to come back for you every year. I have a sheet. If you send Dawn at thegardenexpert.com, ask for the amaryllis sheet, and I will send that to you.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate the call.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah,
okay,
you bet.
Thank you.
Bye.
We've got a couple of minutes here. Should we do Joe? Yeah, we're going to talk to Joe from Kelowna. Hey, Joe.
Good morning. Thank you so much for your wonderful show.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
I was just prompted to call you when that lady called with the wax amaryllis.
Mm-hmm.
And my neighbor got some of those for Christmas last year, didn't know what to do with them, so she gave them to me, and I was able to pot it, and it rebloomed again just beautifully. It was beautiful red ones.
Did you take the wax off?
Oh, yeah, took the wax off, potted, and they just came back just beautifully.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
I think it's plant cruelty, actually. I mean, I hate to tell you, that wax thing, it just bothers me a little bit because it's just stifled the bulb. I don't know what the idea. I guess I should look at it and get some technical information from somebody, but to me, that's just a bad thing to do to an amaryllis bulb.
Well, I guess it's the way they sell them for Christmas, so that's kind of what they do, but they do come back beautifully.
Good.
So
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, dear. Thank you so much for your beautiful show. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate the
Thanks
call.
for the kind words. Yeah.
We are going to take a break at the bottom of the hour. We'll be back with the Garden Show after this short break. Well, we're going to be visiting Elaine Cameron, of course, through the spring coming up, and in January she was out there working right up to the 27th of January. She was hauling stones around and cutting down the acacias. And of course, the acacias there are not really true acacias. Acacias is a genus from Africa. The pseudo-acacia is what we have. Robinia pseudo-acacia is what we have, and we common name again. There's that common name thing, and we call them acacias, but they're not really. The acacias are in Africa. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're just blabbing away about our thing about common names. But anyway, and then we get into February. She's working still through February. And then she says cold, March 1st, cold. Now, I don't know how cold she's talking about, but she said cold. And on the 3rd of March, it was dull and raw. How cold that was, I don't know. And then on the March the 4th, it was sun, and then snowfall overnight, northwest wind, and blizzard evening. Okay, so
nice.
By the 16th of March, the snow was going, and the snowdrops were opening up. And 18th, she says Sunday. So this is what we have ahead of us. I always say we get out of February and we're pretty good.
Should be.
I don't know how cold she mentioned. I could look back on the records and see what March was.
It'd probably be good to do that, just to get a rough idea, because this is an interesting story, and it sort of relates. It doesn't relate at all to this year, but it's interesting to see what people have gone through and what the weather patterns have
I did look it up, Ken. And in March 1951, Kelowna had a monthly average temperature of 4.5 degrees Celsius. That's 41 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
With an average daily maximum of about 4.5 and an average daily minimum about minus 4.9. So it,
average,
so it might have got down to minus 10, whatever. So, well, here we go. There's nothing much. We can talk about it all we want, but there's nothing we can do about it.
No, that's right. And you just never know what's going to happen. I mean, month of March can be any which way. It can be beautiful and warm, or it can be just horrible and cold and miserable and windy. And
who knows?
You never know. Got to wait and see what happens.
That's gardening. That's gardening, and that's farming. We've got Monique calling in from Victoria. Monique, nice to have you with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
We're very well, thanks.
Yeah, good.
Now that you've called, we're even better.
Oh, thank you. I've got a couple questions, quick ones, as well as I wanted to let you know that they've started handing out flyers for our CD Saturday in Victoria at the Crystal Gardens on February 14th.
February 14th.
February 14th for
Valentine's Day.
That is fabulous.
Oh, that's Valentine's Day. That's fun.
All these for seeds the love of gardening.
Yeah.
And for my first question, I bought leek babies. Last year was the second time I've did that. First year, no problem. Last year, they all went to flower.
Leeks? You're talking about leeks?
Yes.
Yeah, leeks. You bought the
and
young?
I didn't cut them off right away, but the leeks didn't grow very well.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I probably should have treated it more like a garlic, right? When you see the scape, you'd get rid of it.
Yeah, but it could also be the stage of that plant when you purchased it. So the thing with a lot of onions is that if they get too mature on the previous year, they will flower on the next year because they're biennial, like typical of onions.
Yes.
So the first year they just grow and produce a big bulb. Second year that bulb shrivels away, gets more skinny, and then it produces a flower. So usually any of those onions, once they flower, the bulb is mostly depleted. And but that's typical.
So when you buy the onions in a pack, like it could be a little bit more mature than they could be, and that could trigger their blossom.
Yeah, so if you want to grow your own from seed, you can get them started right at the beginning of February here, and then you get them outside as soon as you can. And you're in the Victoria area again?
Yes, in Saanich.
Yeah, so in your area, you'd be able to get them out probably by the end of February, early March, you could plant them in the garden.
I still have, I cut half of them back. I took the flowers off, and I'm trying to save the seeds from the first group, but then I have another container with a bunch of them that still have the flowers on.
Yeah, those seeds that you save are probably going to be better than the ones you buy.
Okay. Well, these were like babies.
Fresh.
Like it was from Buckerfield. There were 50 of them in a small.
Oh, 50
like a
little bulbs.
Single pack.
Yeah.
Shallots, yeah.
No.
So do I cut the flowers off the ones in the container that I have?
Yeah, well, anytime you do that, you're going to be pushing more growth to the base. But again, once they start to flower, there's no guarantee they're going to produce much. But they're still edible and they're fine. It's just a matter of sizing them up, giving them enough nutrients to kick in and grow.
Okay, thank you very much. And then the second question is, last year I found a tomato fertilizer that had calcium in it. Do you think that helps with the blossom end rot, or is it just better to apply it once you see the small golf ball size tomatoes?
Yeah, I'm inclined to do both, actually. And in your climate, you've got acid soil conditions, so that means that when you apply calcium, it's actually available to the plants. When you apply it into the soil, so you can buy lime, which you can lime around
we
those.
do. That's for sure. Like the dolomite lime or dolipril.
Yeah, and it works. It works for you. That doesn't work for us here. So it's interesting. Depending on your soil type, we already have limey soils, but our plants show up calcium deficiency.
Yeah,
it's just the weirdest
thing.
thing.
In a rock form.
Yeah, so if you do have a stubborn variety, if you have a type of tomato that's just, no matter what I do, I get blossom end rot, then change that variety. Get something different, because each variety has its own limitations as to maybe what diseases or what issues it's susceptible to.
It was way better than the year before, having used that fertilizer, but I was more on top of it about spraying, right? Like you crush down the supplement and then you go and spray when the little tomatoes start popping.
You got it. I would do both for sure.
Okay. Yep. Okay, well, thanks so much, guys.
You're
we
very
love your
welcome.
Show.
Well, we love to have you with us, and thanks for the call.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye now. And we have Addie calling in. Hey, Addie, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year,
all the best
Addie.
to you, Addie.
Thank you.
Hope for a good gardening year.
can I send you a picture of a plant that I bought into the house?
Okay. Sure.
And I said I was going to talk to you about it. So open up your album and see whether you got it or not.
See if I got it. Yeah. Was that recently or was it?
Just now, just about 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
And my other question was seeding geraniums. I haven't had any luck with any of that. I tried it for 2 years now, and I just can't seem to do it. So how do you do seeded geraniums?
Oh, very easy. Addie, you should have some bottom heat like normal. Buy your geranium seeds in packs at the garden centers. They'll be on the racks now. And you want to plant your geranium seeds ideally in little containers, like little plug containers, like smallest little pot you can find. Put one seed in each pot with some nice clean potting soil, and put them on that hot pad with a grow lamp, and they will germinate and do their thing. The difficulty sometimes in the winter when you start them, even we had that issue in the greenhouse. That's why we had to add some supplementary light to really keep them stocky, because at this time of year our days are so short and the sun is so laying down low that it's not as powerful as it should be, and so the plants tend to stretch and look for light, and so they get a little bit tall and lanky. But definitely planting them at this time of year and getting some good grow lamp and some bottom heat. Once they germinate, though, you take the bottom heat off. Don't keep the bottom heat on for any longer than just letting them germinate. Once they've germinated, it's better to grow them a little cooler, because then they won't get so stretchy and that too. But easy to grow, Addie. I would highly recommend it, and a lot of fun too.
Okay, I guess that's what happened to me, because mine got so leggy when I got to take them out of the little pots and put them into bigger pots. They were just so leggy and weak.
Well, that's usually from not enough grow lamp type of light on them, and with the grow lamp you want to keep them short, right down close to the plant, so they don't stretch up looking for that light as well.
That's my problem.
That's the key.
My grow lamp is higher up. So
get them down. Get that grow lamp down low.
Yeah, within about probably 10-12 inches. Yeah.
Really? Okay, so. How long does it take for them to germinate, and how long does
a few days? Just a few days. I've seen them germinate 4 to 5 days. They germinate quickly.
Really?
Yep.
And perhaps I should wait till after I come back from Winnipeg.
Yeah, probably.
If there's nobody looking after them, you should. Yeah. You want to babysit them. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, Ken, did you get the picture?
No, I didn't get it. I've looked through all my emails and I don't have it there. Do you send it to Ken at...
Oh, I sent it on your text.
Oh, text message. Okay, that's totally different. And...
It's my Swedish... I think it's called the Swedish ivy or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't have it there either. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
Maybe my phone is out of whack. But... yeah, so Swedish ivy, that was that variegated one. I remember you were bringing it in. Is it still alive and growing, or did
it's
lost
still alive,
leaves?
But a lot of the leaves have fallen off, and it's really looking quite shabby.
Yeah, and they will.
So does that mean that the ones that are still green are going to... should I take cuttings from them now, or what should I do?
As long as the stems are still kind of fleshy and green, that's all that matters. Just don't get them too soggy wet. They need to be just, they don't have much for leaves, so they don't need much water. Just keep them warm and reasonably bright light. They're fine. And you'll see that probably around mid to end of February, they'll suddenly start to leaf out again and put on new leaves and start to grow. And then at that time, you can consider maybe giving them a little bit of fertilizer. And as soon as they get a little bit of new growth, that new growth is really easy to root.
Yeah.
So that's when you do the rooting, is around in early March. And like I say, if you have a grow light, that changes everything. Like grow lights just make everything grow. So.
Well, they're at the window where they get the light from sunrise to sunset. So,
perfect.
But I guess the grow light can help as well.
It does at this time of year, yeah.
Super. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful week.
Okay,
you
good
too,
luck.
Addie. Nice to hear from you. Take care.
Thanks, Addie. Bye-bye.
Now, we've got in the bullpen on deck waiting a good friend of ours, Charlie Hodge. We're going to talk to him, but we're going to take a break, Charlie, if you're listening, because we want to talk to you for more than just 30 seconds. And a familiar voice, Charlie Hodge, will be on with us when we come back with The Garden Show after this short break. Okay, we're back with you in the Garden Show, and we've got our good buddy Charlie Hodge calling in. Charlie, good to hear from you.
Good morning to you, Dan. Ken.
Good morning.
So, were you out in the garden today?
Not today. I just called. Funny enough, you said you wanted more than 30 seconds. I only wanted 30 seconds. Only for one reason.
Okay.
And that is to say how lucky and thankful I am and Kelowna should be for your show. Because January and February is such a depressing time of year. People go through the blues and the blahs, and they're stuck inside, and it's cold weather, and all they can think about is how they'd rather be doing something else. And you bring to us every Saturday sunshine and gardens and things to think about that are positive. And I just thought how lucky we are to have you. And I just want to say thank you.
Well, and it's a quid pro quo, Charlie. We're lucky to have you too, and that's great. And go Canucks. We're not even going to go there.
They better go do something. I don't know.
Oh, they better go right to the bottom.
The fight, but Vancouver, come on, boys.
I know. Ken's got a Canuck shirt on right now.
Oh, yeah. I want to see them hit rock bottom and hold it there. Don't try to come out of this because we want our first-round draft picks for next year.
Yeah, but don't give them away for Zamboni or something.
Just hold on.
You got some ownership that knows what you're doing.
There's still a chance.
55 years from now, Ken. Come on.
Hey, there's still a chance. There's always a hope.
I'm a believer too, but it's getting hard. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to call.
Okay, buddy. Love you guys, and we will get together soon.
Oh, you bet. Yes, we will.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
But blessings to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, Charlie.
Bye-bye
Take
now.
care. Bye-bye.
Charlie Hodge, what a giant, what a great family. Charlie's family, Vickers was in town. Sylvia I went to school with. Yep. And Charlie's done a great job on city council over the years, and he's a voice we need there. And it's just a good buddy and he's a player. He plays guitar and does his thing too, and he loves gardening. And of course, Teresa is his backbone with that end of things. It's an amazing thing. Yeah. So what else are we going to talk about here before the end of the show? And we do invite your calls. We still got a little bit of time if you want to give us a call, if you have a question or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to talk about a few of those.
Oh yeah, let's do
trends.
Yeah, let's do that. The trends, gardening trends.
Yeah, gardening trends. There's I've got a big long list because I've been every year I do this every year typically through the month of November into December. I start making a little bit of plan, just doing a little research what's going on around the world when it comes to these what they call gardening trends. And so this year there's all kinds of things that are popping up. And I've got multiple lists here because every time I find something that is really, I think is going to be really good and important, I write it down right away. But I've just got a short list here. So I'm going to just talk about these, and we'll talk about more of these in the future as well. But number one thing in the plant trends are climate resilient and water efficient plants. This is one of the key things. And we just think, that's not just xeriscaping is another name for that, is selecting these plants that are climate resilient and able to survive these conditions that are maybe all over the place, but potentially extremely dry in the summertime. Something to be aware of. And the edible yet beautiful gardens. So a lot more to do with these perennial edibles plants that you can plant, like maybe berry bushes or even these Jerusalem artichokes. We've been having a few people over the last while talking about Jerusalem artichokes, and it's a perennial plant. That means it comes back year after year, and you can harvest the roots. Very delicious and easy, and they just proliferate. And other things is really just bold and dramatic foliage is one of the things that's really popular. And I know that, I've always promoted to plant for foliage rather than blooms, even though blooms are nice when they bloom. But foliage is forever. I mean, it's all summer long, spring to fall. So that's something that I've often promoted. But this is one of the things right now. Bold and dramatic foliage is one of the things we're looking at 2026. And, outdoor rooms and functional landscapes, which I think is something that's kind of a generic thing, but still makes sense. And the biodiversity and wildlife support, which is something that we always talk about that a lot, and about pollinators and that whole thing, which was really a big thing for the last couple of years. But it's still pushing, and we still want to promote that and make sure that we're getting enough pollinators in the garden to keep nature happy. And so then the last one on this list is a boutique of cut flower growing. So that is boutique cut flowers. So the beautiful arrangement of cut flowers that you can get. And I know you talked about zinnias as being one of your favorites. And every year we always, in my garden, I always make sure we have lots of different types of cut flowers. Some of them are perennials, some of them are annuals, but it's just a great thing to have, to be able to go out. And if you I always say support your local flower shop. Get out there and buy cut, especially right now. Hey, and you know it's coming, Valentine's Day. But get out there and support your local shops and buy flowers locally. It helps to support their businesses. But in the summertime, you can grow some of your own, and it's nothing quite as decadent as a beautiful big bouquet that you've grown yourself. Putting that on the table, it's fabulous.
Yeah, you take your garden and bring it indoors so that you can enjoy not only just the flowers and whatnot, but often you're bringing in fragrance too from the garden, which is good. And so to plan the garden accordingly, saying, okay, we're going to plan the garden so we get cut flowers coming on all summer long. And for various occasions, I mean, there's nothing like, when you go visit someone to take a bouquet of cut flowers from your garden. Some of my favorites in the garden, one of them is the helianthus, that false sunflower.
Yeah.
It blooms all summer long. You can always plunk some of those in there. I like, for small arrangements of things, the heucheras have such, coral bells have such nice little blossoms, and they last well. And some of the grasses, for not only the plumes, but the foliage itself. One of the things that makes nice foliage is Palmonium, the Jacob's Ladder. I've got the variegated one, and that makes great foliage for floral arrangements.
And then in the category of cut flowers, if anybody has done it may not be time to call back today, but please call back in the future. Last year, a big push on Lysianthus and growing Lysianthus. And I would just like to know if people had success with that. I mean, it was a great growing season. Should be no excuses why the Lysianthus weren't spectacular as a great cut flower and just a nice little garden plant.
Have you ever grown it?
I have grown it in greenhouse situations, but not out in the garden. But I've heard hundreds of people growing it.
Our good friend and longtime listener Pam emailed me in regards to Lysianthus, and I mean, I know we had them in the flower shop as a cut flower all the time. But to grow them in the garden, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's why I want people, anybody who's tried to grow it or had successes or failures, please call us next Saturday and let us know how that went, and just see if that's a viable plant here in the Okanagan or in coastal regions, wherever you are. Give us a call and let us know how your Lysianthus experiment went.
That's cool. And there's all sorts of other great plants for cut flowers. And as you mentioned before, zinnias are becoming my favorite. The zinnias, the tall zinnias, one of the best mixes is one. It's an old time mix, and we've talked about that on the Garden Show quite a bit too. How some of these old varieties carry on and stay with us. And the one that I recall way back in the 60s, growing it, my mom and dad, were the State Fair mix. State Fair mix.
And I still grow that one still to this day. And there's a couple in that category. They're a taller version.
We tried another variety this last year, and it wasn't nearly as good. So this year, that seed's going away. We're going to plant State Fair mix. The other one was one that Mom brought on. I remember when it was very first on the market, was called Cut and Come Again. In other words, they just keep coming again. You keep cutting these zinnias. Now, I'm not sure whether that particular variety is still available on the market, Cut and Come Again, but hey, have a look out for it. Maybe it comes under a different name now. And there's other great zinnia varieties for not only just for cut flowers, but for mounding, just like the cushion type form of the zinnia, mass plantings. Fabulous Okanagan plant, and does well, I'm sure, in Victoria and other areas as well. But cut flowers, Ken, what a great topic. And as we go into our spring now, the days are getting longer. The garden show is going to be more active because we want to promote gardening, and I want you folks out there to tell a friend about gardening and tell a friend to listen to the garden show, because we'd like to talk to them too.
Yeah, you bet.
On that note, we are going to do the tips and the plants of the week.
You betcha.
Well, my tip of the week this week is it's time to germinate geranium seeds in order to get them into bloom for May and June. And we talked to Addie about that, about her experience with geranium seeds, and we're going to promote that, geranium seeds at this time of year. My plant of the week is a group of plants, a genus called Crassula, and that includes the common jade plant, both the big leaf jade and the little leaf jade, and all the different jades in there. It's a jade plant family.
Tons of beautiful group. All right, I also have a tip and a plant, and my tip of the week is to tune into the garden show for at least the next few weeks when it comes to gardening trends. So we're going to be talking about garden trends each week. And, hopefully you can also give us a call and let us know if you have other gardening trends that you think are important. I think that's always a good input. And sometimes gives people ideas of what to watch out for this year. Now, my plant of the week is the agave. It's actually the agave group, but there are many different types of agaves. And Don was mentioning the one for tequila, which is it's actually called agave tequilaensis or something like that. But there's lots of different ones, agave victoriae and a bunch of different ones. So anyway, agaves are very cool plants. They come with their own needle and thread because the tip of the shoot has this brutally sharp spike on the end, and if you peel it out, you got a thread attached to it. And it can be used for patching things up in the case of emergency. But anyway, that's my tips for plants for this week. Remember to check GrowerCoach.com, GrowerCoach on YouTube, and be patient with GrowerCoach.com. We're going through some changes there. We're probably going to be changing that website around a little bit and updating it or just working on it. So it's under construction. There you go.
Ready to go, Kent? My Shigo quote of the week is, in physics, it's called friction. In business, it's called overhead. See you next week with more of The Garden Show.